Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us on today's Team Mental Fitness. And our topic for today is saying no politely. Saying no politely. So, to rephrase, we say mastering the art of polite refusals. So, before I kick off this training, I would like to say that there is nothing wrong with saying no. There is nothing wrong with saying no. Until you master how to say no, you might end up finding yourself completely burnt out on a regular basis without even achieving your own priorities or your goal. So what this training is going to be focusing on is saying no politely in a corporate environment like this, in an organization, your workplace, and also beyond, in your daily interactions with people, your daily interaction with family, friends, and everyone surrounding you. The need to say no, and saying no simply means was setting some kind of boundaries to help you on every aspect of life. So on my introduction, I say in a world where communication is key, knowing how to say no politely can be an art. This training explores the art of graceful refusal, that is saying no with demure, right? We are all familiar with that word, helping you navigate social and professional situations with confidence and diplomacy. You saying no to someone does not necessarily have to bring a problem or a challenge between you and the person in question. You can say no to your friends, you can say no to your work colleague, you can say no to family as well, while maintaining the right relationship between you and that person in question. Now, my opening quote is I took it from Warren Buffett, and he said the difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything. Now, I will explain the context from which I picked up this quote. When they say really successful people, it is not when we become billionaires. It is not when we've accomplished all our goals that we are successful. I define success by getting better by 1 inch per day. You get better by what? 1 inch per day. That is success for me. Not being the same way you've been, maybe yesterday, day before yesterday, around the same situation. If something has happened before and is happening again, how do you handle it? So your ability to handle it in a better way makes you a more successful person. So when it says very successful people say no to a lot of things, I want to generalize it now. In the world that we live in, there is always pressure for one to do more than we can. You know your capacity, you know your ability, you know where you can get to and get tired. But because you constantly see that, okay, people are doing this, they are doing that, they are doing this, at the same time, you are pressured to want to also do the same thing, knowing that your capacity will not be able to carry that. So it is important that we are able to streamline and say no to things that do not add value to us, whether on the short term or on the long term. Now, the art of saying no. The art of saying no is the skillful practice of declining requests, invitation, or demands in a way that is respectful, clear, professional, without damaging relationship or creating unnecessary conflict. Like I said when I started, I said saying no is a good thing. And because you said no does not mean that your relationship with whoever you're saying no to has to be broken, or you have to have problem or have some kind of tension between you. No, you have to be able to say it the way that it doesn't come across as an offense to whoever you are saying that no to. Why saying no matters? Why saying no matters? Saying no is crucial to maintaining focus, setting boundaries, and managing workload. You are in a department where your team lead gives you all of his or her own responsibility to do when you have not finished your own. I am painting a scenario here. You have to be able to tell such kind of team lead gracefully, respectfully, that you cannot handle the amount of load that they are heaping on the existing one you have. So when you are able to communicate very well, that way you have a better report, because you'll be able to focus on what is your number one priority, why you are even employed in the first place. Let's talk to the business owners. For business owners, you have invitation to attend some kind of conferences, seminar that you know deep down that it's not going to really work in your own field, or it's not going to even make sense for you to attend, or the value you are going to draw for it is not relevant to you as a person, but you have a clique of friends that is already going for this training, you want to be able to tell them politely that you will not be able to go. The truth is that we are not called to do so many things at the same time. You are called to do one thing, focus on one thing, so that you can become valuable through that one thing. The next thing is, it helps you prevent burnout and overcommitment. When you keep saying yes to this person bring this, you say yes, that person bring that, you say yes, at a point you become a workload of disappointment, because you will not be able to finish every of these things. And because you said yes earlier, it commits your integrity as a person. Going back to saying no may become difficult, and you might end up disappointing that person. Let's use Nigerian tailor for example. They will take all the clothes in their community, knowing fully that they cannot deliver. Eventually, there will be gbas in their workplace. So that's one aspect of not saying no. I understand the fact that money is involved. They want to, gather everything to themselves. When you know you are unable, it's not going to make you look good. You are just going to overcome it and not be able to deliver. The next one is build respect for your time and the time of others. The moment you start practicing the art of saying no politely, people will understand that your time is precious and valuable to you. And please, let me state here, saying no, you don't have to say no all the time. You only say no when you know genuinely that this thing that this person is bringing in, you cannot handle. But in situations where you have some free times on your hand, why not? You can feel free to, assist or even volunteer to help other people. So I use a representation here. Why saying no matters is that it brings a balance to your life. You don't want to be dragged from different direction without knowing where you are going. Now, the next thing is the risk of not saying no. Overcommitment leads to poor quality of work. You just have so much going on. You just have and eventually maybe you start churning. Let me even talk for the creatives now. You start churning out loads and loads of things. At the same time, you know that the things you are churning out does not even make sense. That is what overcommitment can do to you. You've collected so much that it makes your creativity power, drop down to a certain extent. The next one is can damage relationship if promises aren't kept. Yes, this goes to, affirm what I said earlier. When you commit too much, people become, they put their trust in you that you have said yes and you are going to, deliver on your promise. And eventually, because you are human, you are unable to deliver. It puts some kind of smear on that relationship, on your integrity as a person, creates stress and frustration. You just have too many. Take this person on the screen, for instance. See what all he has to do. And he's obviously tired and frustrated, not knowing where to start from. Key principles of saying no politely. So saying no now is not the issue. It is how to say it politely that whoever you're saying it to is not offended. Number one, be clear and direct. When they come, don't tell the person to come back when you already know that even if that person comes back in the next 4 days, you do not have the time. Why not go ahead and be clear about what you have on ground that you will not be able to, fix what they are bringing in. Stay cautious and respectful. Your language, your tone, the way you say it to that person will determine whether that person picks an offense with you or reasons with you. There's a difference between saying no the polite way and, maybe just saying it disrespectfully. The truth is that as human, we always know when one is being disrespectful or rude to us. The next one is be honest but brief. You don't need to explain the word to whoever it is that is trying to bring you this task. Just be honest, straight to the point and brief. No need for so much explaining. Offer alternatives if possible. If it is a task that you can take a little out of to help the person, why not feel free to do that? If it is a task that you know who you can refer the person to that can also do a good job on that, feel free to also do that. Avoid over-explaining. Don't go and continue explaining and explaining and explaining. There will be no need for that. The next one is phrases for saying no politely. Now we are talking about the issue of communication. So communication is a two-way thing. It is about what you say and the reception of whoever you're saying it to. So you could say something, not say it where the person would understand it the way they understand it. So these are just some examples of phrases that we can use to say no politely. Someone brings you something that you know that your table is full, you can just go ahead and say, I appreciate the offer, but I am unable to commit right now. It is very, very simple. I'm unable to commit right now. This cannot destroy any form of relationship. They know that if you were available, you would have taken that up. Unfortunately, I can't take that at the moment. It means that right now, you're busy, you can't take it now. What you're saying is that for now, you are busy. It doesn't mean that they cannot bring such this thing again, maybe later on when you are a bit freer. I did love to help, but I am currently focusing on other priorities. So these are just simple ways you can say these no's politely. Stay firm but polite if pressured. For instance, you've said no, you've used all these polite words with the person, and the person is insisting, let's say superior, for instance, kindly maintain. Do not be pressured to move grounds, because if you do, the person will come back with the same request, maybe very more urgent some other time. Now, benefits of saying no politely: it protects your time and your energy. It protects your time and your energy. This way you are able to focus on the things that matters per time. The next one is it improves focus and productivity. It improves focus and productivity. Number 3, it maintains positive relationship. When you are able to say no, just like on the other phrase that I mentioned before, it's going to maintain your positive relationships with people, encourages honesty and openness. People will know that you are honest. When you are busy, you are busy. And when you are free, you are able to stretch a helping hand to others. Then it fosters a culture of balance. Your life will not be messed up. Your life, even on your life, in your life generally, not everything should concern you. Let me even take it back, because we are in the age of social media. It's not everything that is online that should be your business. If it is not your business, it's not your business. There are some blogs that you should deliberately just block or whatever. Just make sure that you don't see content from them. We enjoy gossip as a generation, but one thing I can tell you is that at the long run, it's going to drain you. You have so much. And the narrative that social media can paint for you, you might just start stressing out over nothing. So you have to even set boundaries, or you won't be able to say no to these things, be able to say no to this blog, be able to say no to the unnecessary pressures that comes with this generation as it is. Closing quote: it is only by saying no that you can concentrate on things that are really, really important. This is no-brainer. It doesn't need any form of what? Of interpretation. And this is by Scott Belsky. In conclusion, the art of saying no is about protecting your time, maintaining your priorities, and communicating boundaries in a way that is respectful, professional. Mastering these skills enhances productivity, reduces stress, and fosters healthier, more balanced work relationships. So that brings us to the end of our training. If you have any question, contribution, comment, feel free to leave it down there in the comments section, and be sure that we are going to reach out to you. Thank you. So now over to the house.